Good to see you today. Let's see if it looks like, yes, you can hear me today. Yes, so today we're going to be talking about technology trends, technology hiring. And you know that we come here every Tuesday. We talk about the now, the new, and the next in careers. And I'm Brie Zimenoff, CEO of Career Thought Leaders. We love this time. We love to chat with you all and see what you're seeing in terms of the trends and share a little bit of information with you. So drop a note in the chat as you're joining me. Let me know where you're joining from. Say hello. Let me know that you can hear me today. And we will look forward to your thoughts about technology trends. There is an echo. That's not good. If anyone else has an echo, let me know. I'll check my. Oh, muting myself is not going to help the situation. Betsy says no sound. All right. Always something, isn't it? Let's see here if I can fix that. All right, so hopefully we can get rid of the echo. And hello, hi Betsy, hi Victoria, good to see you all. Thanks for joining us. Betsy was just joining us, and Kathleen just joined us for the Unlock Boot Camp that we just had. We had so much fun, so it's good to see you all. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Robin. Good to see you. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on with some tech talent. So again, today we're going to be talking about technology in jobs and what's going on in the tech sector. What types of jobs are people losing, gaining, and why is there so much transition going on in that space? So if we think about what's been going on in the tech space longer term, it's not too long ago, but it seems like a long time ago. Last November, December, early this year, we saw the huge round of layoffs from Meta, Amazon, Microsoft. It kind of trickled through the tech sector, right? You saw a lot of layoffs going on. And in May of this year, the Wall Street Journal reported that 90% of people that had been laid off in that big layoff had found new work. But I'm still hearing, and I'd love to hear if you're still hearing, lots of chatter about people who in that sector are still unemployed. And maybe there's some themes, maybe there are some specific areas that we're seeing people are still struggling and other areas that people aren't. So tell me what you're seeing in terms of the tech sector. What types of clients got back to work quickly, and what types of clients might be struggling a little bit to get back to work? Here are a few things that we see in the trends. One, again, early this year, there was a big push by municipalities, Fortune 500s, and those types of individual organizations wanted to pick up this tech talent, right? They went, ooh, we want these people that are from these companies and they're getting laid off. We can, get them and have them come in and work for us. Well, what this Wall Street Journal article was talking about, that a lot of those organizations weren't set up to really serve that type of individual. So maybe the types of projects, the pay, the culture, a lot of that was struggling and to get the tech talent to want to go to those types of organizations, right? If you have been working on cool projects at Meta or whatever, and now you're going to go work on an IT kind of humdrum role in a Fortune 500, not as exciting, not as interesting when you think about taking on those types of roles. So, let's see, Kathleen is saying that sales, recruiting, and marketing, I don't know if you're saying those people are doing well or not doing well in these roles. Based on the articles that I'm reading, it sounds like the technology talent, the people that had the actual technical skills, were able to get jobs more than the support people. So especially recruiting, well, not recruiting necessarily, but marketing, and some of the people that are in all the companies, HR, those types of roles, having a hard time finding a new job, which kind of makes sense, right? They don't necessarily have that specific technical skill. They're not doing well. I was wondering if that's what you were saying, because that's what I was seeing as well. There's not growth in the Fortune 500s in those areas like there's growth in the technology sectors, or in the technology jobs that aren't in the technology sectors. So when we think about how we help those people transition, some of that might be either needing to transition industry and or maybe type of organization that they're thinking about. When I read that article from the Wall Street Journal, I said, okay, they're thinking about culture and money and all of that, and maybe looking at companies that aren't a good fit their for their skills, even though it's the same kind of role. Is it a really good fit for my skills? So when we think about taking and transitioning industries for our marketing people, our salespeople, our HR folks that got laid off from the technology sector, if they think about transitioning industry, there may be some work that we do with them there, thinking about what industries are growing, what industries are hiring, where might they find a good fit. That's always an important piece to look at. So when we think about growing industries, and we looked at a graphic a couple of weeks ago on that, where the industries that are growing: professional services, still hospitality and entertainment. We think about, okay, if you've been in the technology sector, how can we help you transition to those other growing industries? Part of it's a mindset shift, right? Do I want to work there? Can I find companies that have that same culture I was used to, pay, whatever it might have been? And then also part of it is the messaging, the strategy, the networking, all of that goes into showing that I'm a fit in this new organization. When we do it in their resume, we want to think about how we make them sound like a fit in that new industry as they're transitioning into the new industry, or at the very least, don't make them sound like they can only work in wherever they've been, when now they might be able to make an impact in a new industry. Um, so we see that transitioning piece off there. Oh yeah, so Elena is sharing the layoff tracker. I'm going to show a kind of a companion site to that here in just a little bit. That's the opposite, right? The jobs tracker. We'll show the jobs tracker here in a minute. Working for a tech company, yeah, very different than working at a non-tech company, but they can do it if they've got the help making the transition, transitioning the language, and finding a real industry that might be a good fit for them. I love that, Jackie. I know you help people make that transition. And people look down on non-tech organizations. Yeah, and that's part of what this Wall Street Journal article was saying, was that Fortune 500s and those types of companies were having a hard time attracting the tech talent. So the non support people, but the actual technical talent, because they're not as interesting, perhaps. They don't have the culture, etc. So if you are working with some folks that are starting to hit that brick wall, we've got to separate the real non-negotiables, whatever those might be, in terms of culture and salary and all of those, from the negotiables that could let them have a little bit more flexibility in terms of the type of organization that they work for. And that's our goal, is to walk the line, find the compromise. Yes, we still want to work somewhere we love to work. And sometimes we may have stereotypes in our mind about organizations that aren't even necessarily true, and we don't give them a chance when we think about moving into those other areas. Of course, there are some things that are going on when you see the technology organizations that were laying off. Lots of economic factors, the overhiring that happened in COVID, and then right sizing, not a great word, but it's kind of fitting in this. They were getting down to a staffing level that they actually needed because they hired too many people during COVID and then didn't need them. I don't know that you'd call the downfall of the metaverse necessarily an economic factor. I think it was just that it didn't take off the way that they wanted it to, some of the services and technologies. And so they've moved on. Of course, Twitter, the big shift there. And once things started to happen, then it was a domino effect in some ways. When we think about those people getting back to work, there are some specific industries that can be a good fit for them. So as I said before, professional technical services, finance, and insurance, banking, those types of organizations are up-teching. Is that a word? There you go. I just coined it. They're trying to get more technology into their systems and be more advanced. Healthcare, of course, we know we've got biotech and healthcare, as they're also still trying to bring in more and more technology. Transportation, education, getting that technology piece in there. Education is also one of the areas that's shrinking. So it's kind of like this shrink and grow combo going on. Communications, retail, that's an interesting one. When you look at retail and the big retailers that are still doing well, a lot of it's because of technology that is letting people shop online and also go into the store and find that balance so that they can stay alive as a retailer. The ones that are doing well are still doing well. Of course, that kind of gets bigger and bigger. And then, as I said, entertainment and travel, those industries are kind of hit and miss, but in some ways still growing. When you look at events, sports, lots of growth in those industries as people find ways to spend their leisure time. And then as some popular articles were talking about the government sectors and the hiring that's going on there. When I think about your technology individuals or people that maybe even working in the tech field, but they weren't technical people, they may need to upskill or reskill, which might sound a little bit like, really, do they? But when they're making that transition, especially in industry, now they want to look at what's important to this industry, what's coming up next in that industry. So if there's any other industries that you all see people are hiring or people are getting hired, drop those in the chat. Those were just a few that I found and in some of those researches in terms of what industries are going. So you've got your technical folks. They may have to crosswalk into some of these non-technical industries. How do we help them do that? How do we help them figure out what their rubric is going to be for determining an organization that's a good fit for them? And then how do they align their messaging and their networking and all of that to these new organizations? One of the things I put in my post this morning was, if 90% of their colleagues have jobs, right, they've got some referral engines that they can tap into. Those people from the company they just came from, where did those people land? And how can they leverage that referral opportunity for a win-win? Typically, the person that refers them in is going to get a referral bonus. And of course, our client will get in a little bit faster into the organization through that referral opportunity. A lot of it comes down to figuring out where they're going and making the messaging so they look like a fit in that new industry that they're targeting. And of course, tech will come back, and tech is still around, so they don't necessarily have to transition industries, but there may be some other opportunities for them if they do. Okay, so what are some of the other opportunities that we see coming? And definitely, I'm going to drop this link in the chat and invite you to also drop some links in the chat. So this is someone had dropped the layoff tracker. This one is a hiring tracker, and a lot of job boards and all those people came up with these trackers during COVID. Some of them not stayed very well updated. This is one that's kind of more specific to tech talent as well, that is still being updated regularly. What other job boards or hiring trackers are you all seeing that can help people keep track of who's actually hiring right now? And then I want to show you a little trick, and a little good trick here today. New search feature in LinkedIn. Not everybody has it because that's the way LinkedIn rolls. But Arthur pointed this out in our Career Industry Authority group, this new way that you can search LinkedIn. So before we move over to LinkedIn, I'll just share that we have our Tech Resumes event coming up next Wednesday. So a week from tomorrow, we're going to be talking about technology resumes. We've got awesome sample pools to put together for you. If you have a sample and you're one of our master resume writers or ACRWs, we'll be sending you a message here in just a little bit. Still looking for a few specific samples that we'd love to have. So if you haven't submitted your samples and you're in that ACRW graduate group or storyteller group, send them in. We'd love to have them. And we're going to be sharing those samples, sharing what's going on in technical resumes. We haven't done one of those since 2015. So 8 years since we've done a technical resume training. It's way past time. So we'll be doing that. And then also we've got our Academy Certified Resume Writer Live program coming up starting September 13th. And that's where we go in depth. You write resumes, you get feedback. It's very comprehensive. Michelle Swanson and some of our other graders, Emily Wong, they pour their hearts into giving you feedback on your resumes so that you can become a better writer, really no matter what level you're at when you start. So we'll go to LinkedIn and look at this new search that Arthur Hughes shared with us a little bit ago. Let me see if I can find the right tab. There we go. All right. So when you're in here in LinkedIn, and this again, it's new, not everybody has it, but it is an opportunity to search LinkedIn just a little bit differently. Let me blow this up just a tiny bit, see if I can make it easier for you to read. And I'm going to dive into search just by putting my cursor in the search bar and hitting enter. It's the easiest way to get to the all filters in the search. So what happens now, you'll have to test this out. Let me know, drop it in the chat if you have it, if you're playing along while I go. So in here, we got under people where you can see your search results filtered by people. But now you've got this actively hiring button. It's only available for premium accounts. There's other ways you can get this information, but this is pretty awesome. Maybe a reason to do a little trial. I know some of our colleagues have a trial available to share with people. So if you have trials available to share with people, let your clients know, right? Could be a great way to connect with folks. But this actively hiring under premium filters my search results by people who are actively hiring. And we were goofing around with this in our Career Industry Authority group. And what we think it's people that have turned on the I'm hiring circle. Obviously, they're purple. Then there were a few people that didn't have that turned on. So maybe they have another button pushed in the back end. Maybe they have a recruiter account on LinkedIn, but don't have the purple circle turned on. But this is a pretty cool feature if you haven't checked it out, just to see what is going on and where we're going. So I'm posting that, still hiring. And again, if you've got other hiring trackers that drop those in the chat. This is the one that I found, especially for tech talent. Okay, so headed back to LinkedIn, we've filtered it down by people that are actively hiring. And then of course you can filter by companies, locations, and you can come in here to the all filters and put in schools, industries, keywords, etc., and narrow down your search while still looking at the actively hiring list. So I think this is awesome. It's better than just a hashtag search and some other things that we can do and we can do for free. But if you have people that have premium, or if you have premium, this can be a great feature to add to your client conversations, that now you can filter a LinkedIn search by organizations and recruiters that are actively hiring. So drop me a note in the chat. Let me know if you've seen that before. Let me know if that's something that you might be using with your clients. Hear that, and then how that might be beneficial for them, or if there's some workarounds that we find as we go, and maybe we don't need the premium. We'll let you know if we find those. If you find them, let us know. So when we think about writing resumes for tech talent, a lot of times it's balancing the keywords and the organizations, the certifications, the credentials, sometimes a whole list of technology that they know how to use, with the business savvy that someone wants to hire for as well. We don't just want someone with the technical skills. We want them to be able to apply that in a way that adds value for the business. And as I've been getting the samples in for the session next Wednesday, people are always talking about that, right? We're writing a resume to balance the technical jargon against the business case, the business value of what people have been doing. And I know I saw this going around on LinkedIn, people saying, oh, you've got to know the tech. This is one of the reasons that we ask people to bring job descriptions, so that we know exactly what they're targeting. We know exactly what their focus is, and we can help them pull out the business case along with the technology side, which typically they already know. We don't need to have all of that knowledge. We can bring that alongside with the information that they bring. Next Tuesday, we're doing a very special live. Thank you for dropping that link in the chat. It only goes to Facebook and YouTube when I drop it in the chat. So I appreciate you doing that on LinkedIn. For some reason, LinkedIn does not get the chats that I drop into the chat. So thank you for posting that. Christine, I appreciate that. So next week, instead of being live here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and all those places, next week we're going to be in Zoom. So make sure you RSVP to join us in Zoom. And when we go into Zoom, the reason we're doing that in Zoom next week is because I'm going to go through some live action, some live demo inside some of the AI systems. So inside the AI technologies, we know that we can get some information that very easily online. We can get it faster. We can have AI help us write, but is that the best thing to do? So I'm going to be busting some myths, doing some demos, and really talking about what we want to do inside of the technologies that we have available to us to be better writers. And I would just caution us around, people have said, I don't use AI when I write. I don't know that any of us can say that. If you're using Grammarly uses AI. If you're using, there's just a whole bunch of technologies that we don't think about that we might be interfacing with AI in our work, even though we might not be using ChatGPT to write our resumes or those types of things. So one, we want to be thoughtful about how we message this to our clients and how we use the technology. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about how we could use it to do some research to make sure that our clients are the best they can, targeting the information that they want to share and being up to date, because there's only so much that we can do to help them make sure that they're doing that and staying up to date. They can also use some of these new technologies to do the research and to make sure that they're staying up to date. So I'd love your thoughts on that. I hope to see you in the live next week. If you need the link, we'll drop that link in here as well, where you can go and RSVP so you can get the Zoom link for next week. So we won't be here live next week, but we will be on Zoom, and it's an open call. It's just an RSVP link, and you'll be able to get that Zoom information and join us. So I hope you'll join us next week on Zoom to talk about using these AI technologies for our writing. It's going to be an update. Some of you saw some of that information. We did a session a couple months ago, but of course, everything's changing so fast. Yes, you can share. You can type hiring into the search bar. You can use the hashtags. It's really nice that they invented that new link, but of course it's premium, so it's only if you're having that. Yes, the information next week will be recorded, and if you RSVP, you'll get the full recording. A kind of shortened recording will also go up on our YouTube channel. So if you're not following our YouTube channel, it's just careertl.com/YouTube. Made a little easy way for you to get to our YouTube channel. So that's careertl.com/YouTube, and you can follow our channel there as well. And that recording, a shortened version of it, will go up on our YouTube channel. And if you RSVP, you can get the longer version. So if you have anything in particular you'd like us to talk about in terms of AI and writing, let me know. Like I said, I'm going to be busting some myths. We're going to be talking about how you can use it to be a better writer and what you might want to watch out for so that it doesn't make your resumes bland instead of stand out. We'll see you next Tuesday on the Zoom link, and then we'll be back here the Tuesday after that on our regular channels live. Thank you, everyone. I'll look forward to hearing from you. And if there's any other resources that we should share for our tech talent, let us know. We'll see you next Tuesday.